Hi, my name is Jordan Miller, and I'm a resource specialist at Paintsville Independent Schools, working with students in the 7th and 8th grade. This year, I wrote a grant called Getting Comfy with Coding. I broke my grant up into two separate parts. One part concentrating on coding, and the other on a classroom redo. The goal of the coding aspect was to give my students the opportunity to work with a variety of different technology in coding. Using this technology, I was able to gather progress monitoring data to go towards their IEP goals. I gathered data in reading, math, following steps, and social interaction when working in groups. One reason I chose to research this topic was every time you look around, you see one of our students with some kind of technology: iPhones, iPads, Chromebooks, video games, and a lot of their video games, such as Minecraft and Roblox, already deal with coding. There's also a high demand for jobs in coding in today's world, so if we can give our students that information, then why not? We already know that they enjoy this stuff, so why shouldn't we bring it into our classroom? I wanted to implement a section of coding and hands-on learning into my classroom curriculum this year. Some items that I ordered was the Ultimate Coding Kit, Lego coding robots, external hard drives so they could put the information on their Chromebooks, iPads and cases, bit coding robots, and an Apple TV. The bit coding robots was definitely their favorite thing that we ordered. If you don't know what that is, you use different color markers to create a sequence of lines that tells the robot to either go faster, go backwards, spin around, change the lights on the top of the robot. They really got into having competitions when they would pair up and seeing who could make their robot do the coolest things or go the fastest, things like that. I was able to set aside an hour twice a month to let my students work with the coding items. We spent the first few classes trying to figure out what each of them did and how to work with them. And I would put my students in groups so they would have each other to go off of. I mainly just supervised and let them read the directions and see if they could work as a team to figure it out. It was really cool to see how in the beginning they struggled to even get the things to do the most basic commands, but by the end they had them doing different challenges and tasks. Overall, I thought this was a really good outcome. The students really enjoyed it. I was able to get a lot of progress monitoring data for their IEPs. And like I said, it was just really cool to see how in the beginning they knew nothing about coding, just very little from their video games. And by the end, they were able to manipulate these items to do different challenges. The second area that I focused on was the getting comfy. So, as a special education teacher, I've been able to observe how my students are able to comprehend more of the lesson when they get to move. The goal was to determine if I brought flexible seating into the classroom, would their test grades go up and their overall participation. I didn't want to just stop at my classroom, though. I also wanted to bring it into the general education classroom for my students. I chose to research this topic because I heard a lot of the same comments like sit still, stop bouncing, get back in your chair. And I know it is so hard for our students to sit in those seats all day long and not get to move. And also, a lot of people are able to process and understand things better when they have something in their hand or can fidget. My plan of action was this year I implemented more flexible seating options in my classroom and was able to provide my student with supplies that could help them in the general education setting as well. Some of the items I ordered were floor pillows, wobble cushions, padded rug, floor cushions, surf laptop desk, inflatable Empire chairs, rolling chairs, and a futon. One way I let the students participate was I asked them what kind of things they would like to see in our classroom for seating. After I gathered some of their ideas, I created a PowerPoint with the different options. Each student had to rank their top 5 options, and once I created a spreadsheet with all that information, I decided what to order. The first week that we had our items, we had to set some rules as, if you sit in it and it's more of a distraction, then you have to go back to normal seating. They really took to the rules. There wasn't a problem with the rules. I also put an agreement in with the general education teacher to use some of the more portable seating arrangements in their classroom, such as the floor cushions and the wobble seats. Overall, this had awesome outcomes as well. This whole grant was just a great grant. The students were really excited when they came in and they saw all our new options. Once they stuck with the rules and they used the seats correct, it had a very positive outcome in not just my classroom, but the general education classrooms as well. I noticed more participation in conversations. They didn't gripe as much about having to do work. They knew if they got to sit in those seats that it was strictly work time, and if it became a problem or they started to get too chatty, they had to go back. The general education teachers also noted that during their lessons, they noticed they didn't fidget as much with their feet because they could rock back and forth on those seats. And they also had a greater increase of amount of assignments that were turned in. If you have any questions about my grant, please feel free to send me an email at jordan.miller@paintsville.kyschools.us. Thank you.